Let me tell you about the most terrifying ghost story in Icelandic culture. A story that has followed every human being from the moment they begin to understand their surroundings until the end of their lives. The fear of a white spot on the back of the neck of the Deacon from Myrká. The Deacon of Dark River, Djákninn of Myrká, Iceland's most famous ghost story. In the rugged and remote landscapes of Iceland, where towering mountains meet vast expanses of unyielding plains, the supernatural has long been woven into the fabric of daily life. Among the most haunting tales of this land of fire and ice is the story of the Deacon of Dark River, Djákninn of Myrká, a chilling legend that has been passed down through generations. This ghost story combines themes of love, tragedy, and the thin veil separating the living from the dead. Myrká and its dark mystique. The story takes place in Myrká, a small rural area in the north of Iceland. Myrká, meaning dark river, is a fitting backdrop for this spectral tale. The landscape itself feels otherworldly, with its stark beauty, rugged terrain, and the ever-present isolation that Icelandic winters impose. In the past, the inhabitants of Myrká lived simple lives, tending to their farms and relying on their community and faith to endure the harshness of their environment. Life was dictated by the seasons, and the long dark winters were particularly arduous, lending themselves to storytelling traditions that often warned of supernatural forces lurking in the shadows. The Deacon and Guðrún, a love doomed by fate. The story begins with a young woman named Guðrún who lived in the area of Myrká. Guðrún was known for her beauty and kindness, traits that attracted the attention of many suitors. Among them was the local deacon, a respected and devout man who served at the nearby church. The deacon and Guðrún grew close, and a romance blossomed between them. By all accounts, they were deeply in love, and plans were made for their future together. However, tragedy struck unexpectedly. One fateful day, as the deacon rode his horse across a frozen river to visit Guðrún, the ice gave way beneath him. He and his horse were pulled into the frigid waters of the dark river. The deacon drowned before help could arrive. His body was recovered shortly after, and he was laid to rest in the church cemetery. Guðrún was devastated by the news, but life in Myrká was harsh, and grief had to be tempered by the demands of survival. Winter deepened, and Guðrún tried to move on, though her sorrow remained palpable. The ghostly visit. As Christmas approached, Guðrún received a message, ostensibly from the deacon. The message conveyed that he would come for her on Christmas Eve to accompany her to the midnight mass. This was a tradition in Iceland, where people would travel together in the dark to attend the sacred service. Guðrún was surprised but not alarmed, as she believed the message came from someone acting on behalf of the deacon's family. She prepared herself for the journey, dressing warmly and eagerly awaiting his arrival. When the night came, Guðrún heard the familiar sound of a horse approaching her home. Stepping outside, she found the deacon mounted on his horse, just as he had always done before his untimely death. However, there was something unsettling about his appearance. The deacon was cloaked in shadows, and his face was partially obscured by his hat. He spoke little, urging Guðrún to climb onto the horse quickly. Despite her unease, Guðrún obeyed, chalking her discomfort up to the eerie winter night. The ride to the church. As they rode together through the snow-covered landscape, Guðrún's unease grew. The deacon was unusually silent, and his movements seemed mechanical, almost unnatural. At one point, the moonlight broke through the clouds, casting its glow on the deacon's face. To Guðrún's horror, she saw that his flesh was pale and lifeless, his hollow eyes staring ahead. She then realized that the deacon was no longer among the living. She was riding with a ghost. Terrified, Guðrún remained silent, afraid of what might happen if she revealed her knowledge. The horse continued its journey, galloping toward the churchyard. As they approached the cemetery, the deacon uttered chilling words. The moon fades, death rides, the grave opens for me and my bride. In that moment, Guðrún knew the deacon intended to drag her into the grave to join him in death. The escape. As the horse leapt over the churchyard wall, Guðrún acted swiftly. She tore off her mitten and threw it onto the ground, a move rooted in Icelandic folklore, which holds that discarded clothing can serve as a distraction for spirits. The deacon dismounted and attempted to seize Guðrún, but she managed to slip from his grasp and flee toward the church. The consecrated ground offered protection, as spirits are said to be unable to cross it. The deacon, thwarted, let out a terrible wail before vanishing into the darkness. Guðrún collapsed inside the church, her body trembling with fear. Aftermath and legacy. Guðrún survived her ordeal, but was forever changed by the experience. She never returned to the Dark River or its surroundings, and she remained wary of supernatural forces for the rest of her life. The story of the Deacon of Dark River spread throughout Iceland, becoming one of the most famous ghost tales in the country. It served as a cautionary tale, warning against ignoring the thin boundary between the living and the dead. Themes and symbolism. The tale of the Deacon of Dark River is rich with themes and symbolism. It reflects Icelandic beliefs about death, the afterlife, and the power of faith to protect against malevolent forces. 1. The thin veil between worlds. The story underscores the idea that the boundary between the living and the dead is particularly tenuous during certain times, such as Christmas. This aligns with Icelandic folklore, which often features spirits and otherworldly beings active during winter. 2. Consecrated ground. Guðrún's escape highlights the importance of consecrated ground in Icelandic and Christian belief systems. Cemeteries and churches are viewed as sanctuaries, where the living can find protection from the supernatural. 3. Tragic romance. The tale is also a poignant love story, emphasizing the pain of loss and the lengths to which the deceased might go to reunite with their loved ones. 4. Folkloric remedies. The use of the mitten to distract the deacon is a fascinating aspect of Icelandic folklore, showcasing the ingenuity and resourcefulness of those who must navigate a world filled with supernatural dangers. Modern interpretations and cultural impact. Today, the story of the Deacon of Dark River is celebrated as one of Iceland's most iconic ghost stories. It has been retold in countless forms, including books, plays, and even films. Visitors to Myrká often seek out the locations associated with the tale, drawn by its eerie allure. The legend also continues to influence Icelandic culture, reminding people of the rich oral traditions that define the nation's heritage. For many, it is not merely a ghost story, but a reflection of the deep connection between Icelanders and their stark, unforgiving landscape. A haunting reminder. The story of the Deacon of Dark River remains a haunting and enduring legend. It is a tale that chills the spine while offering insight into the fears, beliefs, and resilience of the Icelandic people. Whether viewed as a supernatural warning or a metaphor for the perils of love and loss, the story continues to captivate audiences, ensuring that the Deacon's mournful journey through the snow will never be forgotten. Dear listener, thank you for being with me all the way to the end of this story. I will continue to seek out frightening stories from various countries of the world. They are different, but all nations seem to have in common that they live in uncertainty and even a little fear of the supernatural. But still notice that all these stories have some great message to bring us. Among other things, that you should not make high-sounding statements about what you do not know about and have no control over. Finally, I would like to ask you to look at the messages in our comment column and perhaps click on the donation link. This collection of stories is an individual initiative, and I would greatly appreciate it if you supported me with a small monthly payment. Until next time.